Hey everybody, it's Connie with Y'all, I can't even say my own name. I hadn't done this in so long. It's Connie with Connie's Crafty Corner. I think it's Wednesday the 21st. I'll probably get this posted tomorrow because it's late in the afternoon and I'm fixing to go run some errands. But I wanted to jump on here and talk to you guys about what I've been doing probably for the past 3 weeks or a month. I don't really know when my last video was. But I've got a lot of little, I keep looking down because I got a lot of little things laying here in front of me I want to show you. And then I'll tell you all about what I've been doing while I've been gone. A little bit about my health, a little bit of traveling, nothing much. I just went to visit. And everything else in between. But first of all, I got the virus shawl that I have probably had working on probably for a year or so. You know, I went through this big phase of doing virus shawls and got, y'all, why do I do this every time I get on here? I hadn't been taking my Zyrtec. I'm the world's worst for medicine. But I do like the, what was it, that dragon shawl thing I worked on. I made like 3 or 4 of them. When I like a pattern, I'll start making a bunch of them. And I was in the midst of my virus shawl days. Y'all, I think I might have been living in Colorado when I started this, but I finally finished it. It's this. I love it. Love it, love it, love it. It's made from one of the Hobie cakes. It's one of the ones that's got I've already actually woven the ends of this. You know, I don't know if y'all can see. It's got the little strands. It's like 3 or 4 little strands of thread hooked together. But I think this is beautiful. I think this will be a perfect summer weight shawl. Because, you know, sometimes it does get a little bit chilly in the evenings. You just never know. But I'm so happy I'm finished with this. And that's what I'm focusing on. I told you guys I've got all that wound up yarn, which I've moved from over here. And I'm trying to work through those. This was not one of those cases, but y'all, it's been sitting in a bag staring at me, and it's been saying, finish me, finish me. So I thought I'd go ahead and get it finished. But that's the first project that I got completed. Okay, the next project that I got completed, y'all are not going to be surprised to know this, but I cannot find the pattern. And I went online to look it up before I filmed this video, and my mouse was not working. I don't know if the battery's dead or what, but I tried a few things, couldn't get it to work, and I thought I just need to get on there and film the video. But I will post the link to the pattern that I'm fixing to show you. It's a pattern I've never done before. I haven't woven the ends, but I have blocked it. Okay. This is from Lether Co. Back when I had her subscription box a long time ago. She's out of business now. But this took 2 skeins, and I think this is this is a fingering weight, I'm pretty sure. Lord, y'all, you'd think I'd know. Wait, I hadn't woven the ends. Let me look at it. Yeah, because that's a lot thinner than her DK weight. But I love this. I love it. And if I'd have saw this one before I made the other shawl for, in that shawl alone, or shawl, y'all, it's where I collaborated with the other ladies, and I see the lady's name I made the shawl for right in front of my face, but I blame everything on menopause. It's not coming to me, but I'll link her channel down below and the pattern that I made her. But I wished I'd made this one because she likes a narrow shawl, and I actually got this one off Ravelry because it was pretty narrow, and I started it and couldn't figure out how to make it. You have to make the trim first. Everything from, like, you know, here down first. And then you work up from there. And y'all, this shawl was so much fun to make. It was so easy. I can't believe it. Even the trim, it was just a fun shawl to make. But this is my second completed project, and it's using one of those the hanks that I had wound that I'm trying to use up. And I thought this would be good for St. Patrick's Day next year. But I've tried it on many ways. And y'all, I'm so hot. I'm having hot flashes terribly that I can't put it on or I'll die. But this is the second completed project that I got done. Okay. And let's see. Let me get my thoughts together. Okay. Do y'all remember that I was making a rectangle granny square blanket out of all my DK scraps? And then I had picked up the incorrect hook and it made it go wonky. And so I started taking it out and I just kept going. So I redid all that during this time I've been away. And this is where I'm at now. It's that Attic 24 Granny Square Stripe blanket. I have got to start doing more consistent videos because I forget how to talk. But this is how much I've got done of it. Can y'all see the bottom of it? Let's see. I'll stand up. I've got this. I love this pattern. It's such a mindless pattern. This thing's going to be huge, but I've got plenty of DK weight yarn, and it's going to be one of those that's just, whenever I get up, let me sit down before I let this chair roll out from under me. Before I get up, y'all, see, I'm telling y'all, I am losing my mind. Y'all, I go all day long and don't talk unless I get on the telephone. And then when I sit down in front of you guys, I can't get my words to come out. And I'm blaming it, like I said, everything on menopause, and I'll tell you about that in a little bit. But anyway, this is where I've got with that. I took the whole thing out and just redid it. And I'm so happy I did, because I'm much more happy with this, because I really didn't know how to make a rectangle blanket, and it was kind of getting way longer than it was wide, and I just wasn't happy with it. So this is another project that's be a long-term work in progress. Let me throw it over on my bed. Okay. Now, when I'm working on a project and I get sick of it, or I'm a little stressed, or I can't think of anything that I'm not in the mood to work on anything, I make dishcloths. So let me show you all the ones I've made. These are actually washcloths that I make for my grandsons, because it's a softer, it's that striped, let me see if this is the peaches and cream stripey. And it reminds me of Dishy from Knit Picks. It just seems softer than their regular cotton yarn. And I get it at Walmart. And the reason these 3 different colorways, there's one. I'll show them to you. There's one. And then, I know there's 3 different ones, but y'all, since I'm trying to show somebody, I won't be able to tell the difference. Here's the other one. See the difference in the two? They're very little, but... So I've got 3 different kinds. So this, 3 different colorways, and one of them is Lavender Meadow, which I'm sure is this one. See, it says Lavender Meadow. I don't know if y'all can see that. Maybe holding it upside down. And then the other is Evening Sea. Y'all, I could be wrong on these colorways because there's purple in both of these, but I'm gonna go with this for Evening Sea. And the other is the same one, Lavender Meadow. I don't have the name for this one, but it's just beiges and creams. These are just so much softer than the regular, and it's can you tell the drape of it? It's even drapier, if that makes any sense, in a cotton. It don't really translate, but it just feels totally different. But I got those made, but I also got all of these made. These are from the cones you get at Walmart. And I had this little bit left over on 2 other cones. I got all these made. And then I had some of that scrubby stuff that I don't even know if they sell anymore. So I thought I'd try to, look, there's my hair, get all that made up. So I got all these made up. And y'all, weaving in the ends on this was horrible. I know it's just a dishcloth. It shouldn't have been a big deal. But I like to weave in my ends, and I had to separate. It's like 2 strands run together, and I had to separate it. It was a hot mess. Anyway, I hate this yarn. I'm glad it's out of my stash. I don't know how it works as a dishcloth. It's more like it's not, it's soft, but it's not, if that makes any sense. It may work well to scrub dishes and stuff, but who knows. But I got all this out of my stash, so I'm happy for that. Not that it even dented my cotton, dishcloth cotton hoard that I have over there, but it feels good to get that done. I love giving these as gifts. I love using them. I use, you know, this kind, just the regular old peaches and cream or sugar lily, whatever. Y'all know the name of it. I can't, I have no mind right now. To wash. I have a color palette that I use for my washcloths and a color palette I use for my dishcloths, so I can keep them separate, but I absolutely love them. And it's just the lemon peel stitch, you know, where you do the single crochet and the double crochet. I used to do the half double all the time, but then I thought, well, no, I'm going to start doing the double and just see. And I'm used to it now, so it's no big deal. Okay. Shocker, I've started a new project. And it's another one of the ones off Expression Fiber Arts. And I don't think I paid for this pattern, and it is paid for now. But, you know, every Friday she releases a new pattern that you can go in and get free. I will link all this down below. And I used to get them every Friday till I just got overwhelmed. And now every once in a while I'll go back and check and stuff. But anyway, and I wish this was in color, you guys, because it is beautiful. But it is a very unique pattern. See, it's got those big flowers on the end. It's all this open lace work. And then it's got this lace work up here. I'm actually on section 1. I'm going to show you my progress so far. There's no graphs, so I'm struggling. Section 1 on row 4 so far, right there, row 4. And this has got many more sections to go, but it's a 4-color gradient that I had bought from her a long time ago, probably when I downloaded this pattern. And y'all, it took me forever to find it because I thought it was purple instead of the blues. It's blues and then it fades into the yellows, and I didn't bring it in there to show you. Lord, I'm so organized. But I did bring you my progress. And I've got it on my little Temu thing I got off Temu. I love this thing. It's attached by a magnet. I like it better than the one I paid a whole lot more money for that I got, I think off Etsy, but I think it was a Knit Picks. It scrolls. I just like this better. It just goes so much smoother, see? But this is how much I've got done so far. And this is the setup, and then she said it's going to be curly until you get it blocked, but that's what I've got done so far. I'm still in the first color. You guys, if I tell you how many times I've had to redo this, and see it's got bobbles right there. A little bobble. And I still don't know if I'm doing it right, but in my mind, I'm doing it right. It looks okay. That's why I wished I had a chart, because I'm such a much more visual person, because these instructions, anybody that's done one of these patterns off her website know that these instructions can be pretty brutal, but I love the challenge of getting one of these completed, because it makes me so happy to see how far I've come. I couldn't have done this a year ago. I could not have done this 2 years ago, especially. Maybe a year ago I would have struggled through it, but and you know, I've only been back crocheting full time since 2020, and I could not read a pattern period when I started. It was only because of YouTube that I could actually get any further than, you know, up to, you know, single, double, triple, that kind of thing. I didn't even know how to do a cluster. I didn't know how to do a bobble. What all those other things were called. I couldn't do it because I didn't know. But anyway, that's how much I've got so far. In my next video, I'll show you the other colors, but I'm just in such a hurry, I can't go run and get it. Let me get a sip of water and I'll tell you what else I've done. Of course, I've made Rowan and Bodie an outfit, and I made it because I've got these new patterns I'm trying out, and Rowan is very extremely slim and tall, like his mother was. And Bodie, he's 6 months old, and he is just a little wad. So I'm trying to figure out what size to make them for the summer. But I think I've got it narrowed down. Like Rowan, and you know, sewing patterns are sized differently than ready-to-wear patterns for those of you who don't sew. And even in children's patterns. So Rowan will be 3 in September. I always get his birthday wrong, so I'm not even going to tell you what date it was. I think it was 24th of 2022. And he wears a 2T on top, and he needs a 2T on the bottom, but he's more like an 18-month because he's so slim. He's 37 inches and 32 pounds, I think. And he's like his mama. He's just long. So Sarah has a time-fitting pants on him. Now, it's short season, so it's easier, but, you know, Grandma likes to make them close. So I made him a little trial outfit. I don't have it with me, but I did take a picture, and I'll insert it somewhere. Here's the clip of the little outfits I made for the boys. These are like, they don't have elastic in them. Sarah loves those for the kids. It's getting a very good view of them, but this is them. We're here while I'm talking about it, if I can figure out how to do it. But they turned out really cute, and they look really cute on them. And I'll even link the patterns that I'm using. It's a Brindle and Twig. It's just one you download off the internet. But I love her patterns. So far, her patterns are my favorite of the new patterns I've been trying. But also, I'm going to show you this, and then I'll quit talking about sewing, and I'll tell you about what's been going on the last few weeks. When my children were young, I used to subscribe to this magazine. Now, I have got them back to what year? I think I had them in 2003. I think 2002 is when I first started getting them. But it's Audebris. I can't remember if that's German, if it's, I don't know. I don't have a clue. But I love these patterns. I made some for my kids. But back, when you've got children and you think you can do everything, I made a lot of clothes for Sarah and Zach, especially Sarah, because she was fit challenged because of her length. But I didn't get into the real detailed stuff. And I did smock dresses and stuff for Sarah, but I wished I could have done so much more, but I'm so thankful I've got grandchildren that I can go back and use these. And this one's actually from 2011. But the reason I'm talking about these is I brought these out and I got to looking at these patterns, and they have got such cute little boys things. Finding cute boy patterns, it's very challenging. I'm trying to find something that really stuck out at me. Now, they've got cute little girl stuff, too. Now, this is 2011. A lot of their patterns are very current, you know what I'm saying? If you've got a daughter like mine that loves the current things and the little boutique-y stuff, and now, don't get me wrong, Rowan and Bodie play in Walmarts and hand-me-downs because they're going to get nasty. Well, not Bodie so much, but Rowan. But she likes for, when they go to church or they have some type of special thing, to have a cuter outfit, a little bit more stylish, you know what I'm saying? That was a bad example when I just brought out, but anyway, they got cute little clothes for kids, especially little boys and girls, but they got some really cute. See, I'm trying to find y'all one to show you. Let's see. Of course, the one I'm talking about, especially the one I'm talking about, but here's a cute little girl's pattern. Oh, they're so cute. But I love these patterns. You do have to trace them. They give you master patterns, and they're color-coded and everything. And they don't have seam allowances and all that fun stuff. But as a grandma, I have a little more time to work on these. But I pulled out all my summer editions, and I'll show you how many I've got. These are all the summer. That's how many years I was getting them. I got them for years and years and years. Mainly because I kept forgetting to delete my subscription. But I did actually get one the year after Rowan was born. And this is 2023. This is autumn and winter. I thought I had a more current one, but maybe I didn't. But anyway, I'm going to be going through these and picking out some outfits and be making some of these over the next few weeks because I want to try my hand at making some more of the complicated patterns. I know that I can do it. I'm pretty experienced sewer, but now I have time to devote to them. And I've got a closet full of fabric here. Most of it's from when my kids were younger that I would love to be able to use. But that's basically what I've been working on. Besides, here's what else I've been doing. I totally tore this room apart, rearranged everything in here, which is, this wall is pretty much all yarn. I've got some yarn there in the corner and some over there and some in this closet. I went through all my fabric. I touched everything I had, and any yarn that I was not happy with, I did donate. I'm donating it to a, it's not a Goodwill or anything like that. It's a place that takes in drug-addicted females and gives them, they go through help, get rehab, and then they're offered a job and they work at this place, and they use the money from this donation site to fund their program. And I went and talked to them several times now, and their stories are just so inspirational to me. I feel led that if I have anything to donate, that's where I'm donating right now. I used to do a lot for Rose Loves Crochet, and I love doing for that too because I love the charity that she supports, but this is local, and she did encourage that if you have local charities that you would love to donate to do that. So that's what I'm doing now. But I've got the whole back of my car right now loaded up, ready to take, because that's another errand I've got to run today. I also went to visit Rowan and Bodie. I was going to go because Rowan takes gymnastics on Monday night. I drove up Monday morning. I was just going to stay the night and see him in gymnastics. And he developed strep throat. So I was planning on staying till Wednesday, but I ended up staying home with him on Tuesday while Sarah went to work. And it was a blessing in disguise because he and I had such a good day that day. And she did get home around 12:31. She took half a day off work. And excuse me, y'all. But we got to spend the morning, just the two of us, and it was just wonderful. He was sick. He was running a fever, so he was a little mellow. I don't know if I could took him full, charged or not, because he is a boy through and through. Because I've just been having, some health issues. I've told you guys about it, and I'll give you a little bit of an update. But it was a good visit. And then about maybe 2 weeks after that, I can't remember, we rented an Airbnb in Knoxville. It was the week before Mother's Day. Jeff looked at me and he said, I'm going to give you your Mother's Day present now. He said, I'm renting an Airbnb. I'm calling the kids and tell them, we're going to be there. If you want to come see your mom on Mother's Day, y'all could cry. On Mother's Day, for the first time in years that I've seen my children on Mother's Day, be there. If you can't come, you got commitments, that's okay. She and I'll have a good time. But we rented this place in Knoxville. It was called the Hobbit House. And it was a super cool place. But both my children and their families showed up, and we had an amazing time. I didn't have to cook. Sarah got up and made breakfast for everybody. And, it was just an amazing, amazing weekend. Sarah got there that Friday night, and I got to see pretty early because she only lives like an hour or so from where we were at. And I got to spend all Friday evening with Rowan and Bodie and Sarah and Garrett, of course. And then the next morning, I woke up to Zach and Jasmine being there because they got there much later, and I was already asleep. But they had a little fire pit outside, and we all sit around the fire pit and talked, and it was actually cool enough. But lo and behold, that's the weekend that the earthquake hit Knoxville, right near Knoxville. And I've felt one before, I thought, when I lived up in Van Wert, Ohio. But y'all, I thought somebody was beating on the side of the house. It was crazy. We honestly thought it was a train going by, because in our minds, you don't put earthquake together with, that if you're just not used to them. But it was pretty unbelievable. I couldn't believe how it felt. And it was a pretty significant earthquake. I don't know if you guys read about it. I think it ended up being a 4.1, which I don't know how significant that is, but from what I understood, it was pretty significant. A little bit about my health. I went for my follow-up, and I told you guys that I'd gotten some blood work back that showed issues with autoimmune concerning my therapy, and I think it turns into Hashimoto's or whatever, but that still doesn't explain a lot of my symptoms. It does, and it doesn't. And the reason it doesn't is I have not been actually diagnosed with that yet, because my thyroid's still good, but I have my antibodies are crazy on my blood results. I'm so sorry, I gotta take another sip. But I went in there and I talked to her as a follow-up to my blood work. And I told her, I said, I'm feeling a lot better. A lot of my symptoms, which I don't know if I shared them with you. I was having dizziness, severe anxiety. My legs felt real heavy. Just the anxiety was the worst of it, but the dizziness was not fun either. And I told her after I had talked to her, and I may have already shared this in my last video, y'all. I tell people I'm such an open book. I talk so much to everybody and tell them what's wrong with me or whatever, anything anybody wants to know, that I don't know what I've shared with who. But in case you missed the last video, and I did talk about it. So I talked to her and I said, just me telling you what was wrong with me, I instantly felt somewhat better. I've only had one anxiety. She did give me anxiety medicine and medicine for vertigo before I did my blood work, and I wouldn't take it because I took Lexapro one time before. They gave it to me for hot flashes, and I suddenly started gaining a bunch of weight, and, you know, I just was very wary of that. But I thought, okay, if I start having symptoms, I'll take it. But I told her, I said, after I talked to you, it almost like it made the symptoms so much less. I mean, I had a little bit of dizziness, a little bit of the leg heaviness, but only one anxiety attack. And it was when my plans got suddenly changed and threw me all off course, and which that's unfortunate. That's a trait that me and my daughter share. We like to know what's coming up, you know. I don't like surprises, which makes me mad. I don't like myself for that. And I think it has a little bit to do with social anxiety, but anyway, I had terrible anxiety that day. I had a lot of dizziness that day. And as she and I were talking about it, she said that maybe, you know, I've never been given hormones. I had a hysterectomy when I was like 42, 43, but they left an ovary. Lord, I'm just telling you guys everything. And, but in my late 40s, I'm 58 now, I started having hot flashes. And they got to where they were unbearable. I was one of the lucky ones that had those. And so I went to the doctor, and she gave me Lexapro, which they give to help treat, what's it called? Hot flashes. And it really worked for me. I was on it for a couple of years, and then we moved to Colorado, and I was having to get a new doctor, and I had gained so much weight. I probably gained 50 or 60, maybe 70. I don't even know. I gained a bunch of weight on Lexapro, which can cause it. But then again, it could be menopause. I don't know. It's just a mess. But anyway, let's see. I decided I'm just not going to take it anymore. And y'all, I quit cold turkey. I didn't know you're supposed to titrate, you know, yourself off of it. But I did okay. And slowly but surely, my hot flashes started coming back. But they are getting out of control now. I mean, like, my face was just, see the shine? That is not the glow from within. That is, my face is covered with the sweat right now because it's so bad. Because I had one right before I had to start my video. But she has, any doctor I've talked to over the years does not want to give me any kind of hormone or even test me for it. And she asked me why, and I said, I don't know. And she asked me about all the factors of, like, you know, if you've had cancer in your family and stuff like that. This is so controversial. I don't know why I'm bringing it up, because to be honest with you, I don't know everything about it. But I have been diagnosed with osteoporosis, I think, last year. And I know that when your body's hormones start getting depleted, y'all, this is all coming out of my brain, and I don't know anything about what I'm talking about, so take it with a grain of salt. But I am sick of living with these hot flashes. And she talked about that, you know, that could have playing part to some of my anxiety. But she and I also talked about that I've had it extremely last 3 years of stress in my life. And last year was unbelievable. Y'all probably noticed I quit doing YouTube as much. I went through the ringer last year, and I've not talked about a lot of that. It's just family stuff, and I'm sure some of y'all can guess. And if I talk to you in my personal life, you probably know. But that has started to resolve itself. Everything's much better, much better. I'd say almost 90% better than it used to be. But last year was very difficult for me, and my symptoms started getting really worse. You know, my anxiety, which I'd never dealt with in my life, was unbelievable. I couldn't travel by myself. I couldn't, going to the grocery store was hard. I mean, it was crazy, but I'm doing so much better. But she did give me the name of a doctor that's a menopause specialist, and I'm going to go, I got to make an appointment. I'm supposed to have already done it. Make an appointment and talk to her about all my, you know, options to see if there's anything that she can do to help, and what are the risks and what are the benefits and all that stuff. And, you know, feel free to share in the comments your stories if there's anything that you want to tell me about. But I think that's about all. I don't know if I got the 2 bathrooms painted since my last video. Just one more bathroom and the laundry room left to go, you guys, and I'll quit talking about painting. I swear it's been 1.5 years now. But we're going to Dollywood this weekend with Sarah and Zach. not Sarah and Zach, Zach and Jasmine. Jasmine, I'm sorry. That's my husband's wife, who I love dearly. Their last IVF treatment did fail. They're going to go to another, they're going to change doctors. It's a long story, but we just keep praying. That's all we can do. But anyway, you guys, I hate ending my videos because I don't know what to say. But you guys have an amazing day, and I hope that your weekend goes well, and I hope to see you sooner than later. I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.